Good evening. Welcome to a very special edition of the Fox 11 News at 6 o'clock. I'm Alex Michelson.
And I'm Marla Tejas. Thank you so much for joining our continuing coverage of the election. We begin this hour with a look at our poll lines here in California. The polls, as you know, are open until 8 o'clock tonight. This is a live look inside the Buena Park area, and those lines, those people are waiting up to 2.5 hours.
This is a live look at the City of Industry where they are processing the votes. A lot of work left to be done right there.
Nationally, here is a live look at both Trump headquarters, that's on the left in Palm Beach, and Harris headquarters in Washington, D.C. at her alma mater of Howard University. Fox's Connor Hansen, he is there live for the Harris camp with the very latest. Connor?
Marla, the energy is high at Howard University. You can hear the music behind me and you can see the crowd. There are thousands of people filling the quad here on campus and filling bleachers, getting ready for the main event as these states continue to be called and we see who will take the lead. It's still too close to call some important states like Arizona, Michigan, Wisconsin as these polls continue to close. Of course, the big prize of the night, Pennsylvania. Vice President Kamala Harris spent her entire day there yesterday across the state in some key cities with huge events, bringing out stars like Lady Gaga and Katy Perry. It still remains to be seen who all will join her tonight, but based on what we're seeing, it will likely be a big blowout like those other events. Take a listen to what the Vice President had to say.
We are tied. Every vote matters, and so I am working hard all day long, continuously, to get out the vote. There are two choices in this race, and it's about the direction of our country, whether we want to go backward or forward.
And you continue to hear the cheers from the crowd. It's getting very loud in here. There's actually a live feed to some of the news coverage showing the states where Harris is ahead or where she has won. And again, a huge event tonight. She didn't have any others. She just did some radio interviews in those key swing states. Marla, Alex.
All right, Connor, thank you so much. We're going to go to Trump headquarters in Florida in a moment. But first, we want to talk about where things are at. Polls closing in 10 states: Arizona, Colorado, Iowa, Louisiana, Minnesota, Nebraska, New Mexico, New York, Wisconsin, Wyoming. 31 states already have had their polls close, including some key battleground states.
One of those is the state of Georgia. Those polls closed at 4 o'clock. So let's go ahead and take a look at the latest results. This is with 16% of precincts counted thus far. Trump up 52% to Harris's 47%. And in North Carolina, the polls there closed at 4:30, and Trump up there 52 to 47%.
Let's go to Michigan now. The polls closed there at 5 o'clock our time. Kamala Harris ahead in a state that the Democrats really need to win. The most important state of all we've been talking about is Pennsylvania. Polls closed there at 5 o'clock. The early numbers there are mail-in ballots that were counted early. Those expected to heavily favor the Democrats, and we're seeing that so far, 64 to 36, but still way too early to call that state. Rebecca Castor is in Palm Beach, Florida, with the Trump campaign. Rebecca.
Alex, if you hear the cheers behind me, the supporters here are cheering because Fox just called Kansas for former President Trump. There's a lot of people already packed here at the convention center. This is where the Trump campaign is hosting its election night watch party. But Donald Trump, he's watching these numbers come in at home at Mar-a-Lago. He's with a small group of family and friends. We're told Elon Musk is with him there as well. But earlier today, the former president, he was feeling optimistic that voters will put him back in the White House, but it's all going to come down to voter turnout. Results, as we know, they're coming in now, but there's a possibility that a winner will not be declared before the night is over, something Trump calls an outrage. Here's what he said to supporters earlier today here in Palm Beach.
Watching, and it'll be very interesting. I hope they come up with a result tonight. They say areas that were winning big, they might not be able to come up with it for 2 days. It's just a crazy thing. And I'm really saying this more for the press than for you. They should do paper ballots, same-day voting, voter ID, and be done. One day, same day.
Earlier today, Earlier today, Donald Trump was asked if he would accept the results of the election if he does not win tonight. He said if it's, quote, a fair election, I will be the first to acknowledge it. He also said that if he doesn't pull this off, he does not plan to run another campaign. Alex, Marla, back to you guys.
Rebecca Castor reporting live for us from Florida, Trump headquarters. Thank you so much. Alex, this really comes down to those blue wall states, Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. And right now, early voting shows that Harris, is taking a lead in Pennsylvania, but it's still way too early to call.
Democrats had hopes about Georgia and North Carolina. Right now, looks like those states are trending to Trump, which means that the blue wall is probably her only path to victory. Can she pull it off? We'll still have to find out. But we want to talk about some of the local races that are happening in terms of Congress.
Yeah, so let's go to Orange County in the race for the 45th congressional seat. That's Republican Congresswoman, Michelle Steele versus Democrat Derek Tran. Fox 11's Haley Winslow. She's live for us in Buena Park now with more there. Christy Fajardo, she is there live for us tonight. And this is where, by the way, the lines wrap around and outside, and people are waiting up to 2.5 hours to cast their vote tonight. Christy?
Yeah, they absolutely are. In fact, I want to show you the line. We're actually at Buena Park Library, which is why I have to keep my voice down. But you'll see that is where people actually line up to go in to cast their vote. But take a look at this line. It wraps all the way around the second floor. You can see it goes right through the middle of the library. And if you walk with me, I can show you it is even longer than it first appears because the lines go through each of these aisles of books, then come out the other side, and then through the next aisle. So really these lines rival anything you've seen at Disneyland. And as you mentioned, the lines actually start outside. We're told there's about a half-hour wait just to get inside the building. So when we arrived, that line was wrapped around this building, which is a rather large building. And as you mentioned, the 45th congressional seat is up for grabs. Michelle Steele, the Republican incumbent, is hoping to hold on to that seat, but the Democrats are hoping to unseat her and elect Derek Tran. So the people you see here have been bombarded by mailers, also text messages and phone calls as both candidates try to get their supporters to the polls. More than $38 million has been spent on this campaign for this one congressional district, both sides spending that, including money from outside groups. So a lot is at stake here. A lot of people, though, lining up to vote and to have their voices counted or have their votes counted. And I should mention, if you are in line by 8 o'clock, we are told you will be allowed to vote, but you might have to wait. Live in Buena Park, I'm Christy Fajardo. Let's send it back to you.
Yeah, one of the most expensive congressional races in the whole country. Christy, thank you. That vote count is well underway for LA County. Fox 11's Gina Silva is live at a polling place in West Covina. Gina.
Well, Alex, I've been watching this line get longer and longer, but you know what? These voters in West Covina, you guys don't mind, right?
No, we don't mind. It's worth it.
It's totally worth it. So how excited are you that it's finally here?
I'm really excited because of the anticipation of, what the outcome is going to be. Obviously, it's going to affect not only each community, our states, our nation, and really it's going to affect the world. So we're just very hopeful. We're Christians. We're praying for a great outcome and an election with integrity.
All right. Are you a little nervous with the outcome?
Yes, I am. We've been thinking about this for a while, and we know we're here because we want to make some change and make a difference.
Amen.
We want to make a difference here in West Covina and all over the world.
What has disappointed you? What policies, what politicians have disappointed
Well,
you?
as for me, this is my first time voting, so I'm very excited, and I'm nervous, but I'm here, like he said, to make a difference. I was reading at work. I just got out of work, so I wanted to make it here on time. I was reading on the props too, so I'm just, I'm excited to make the right move.
So
hopefully.
The fact that you've never voted, something pushed you, and so you're saying, okay, hold my Coke, I'm going to go vote.
Well, I recently became a citizen, so I was excited for that. So I'm here, and I want to make a difference. And I'm
great.
excited.
Excited. All right, we got to wrap it. I know I told you I wouldn't
No,
speak
it's
with
okay.
you, but real quick,
Yeah.
what matters to you?
Change. We got to have change. You know?
Yes, that's
Long time West Covina resident, so
okay.
we're supporting.
All right, thank you guys. Thank you so much. I'll send it back to you guys in the studio again. You have till 8 p.m. to get out here. I'll send it back to you in the studio.
Hour and 50 left, and we know that guy is happy about his NFL team. That's for sure. The Kansas City Chiefs
Good
are doing
season
well.
for them.
Yeah. All right, Gina, thanks so much. Polls are open right now throughout Southern California. We will remind you over and over, but keep in mind, long lines forming at several vote centers. On the far left, that is St. Paul's Methodist Church in Tarzana. Voters there expecting to wait up to an hour to cast their ballots. More waiting in West Hollywood, Burbank, and on the far right, at Santa Monica College. So this is just a roundup that we're showing you. So forgive me for the confusion that I just provided you. Bottom line, if you go to vote tonight, you may have to wait depending on your vote center. A lot of eyes on the race for LA County District Attorney. Incumbent George Gascon facing a challenge from Nathan Hochman.
Phil Schuman is at the Democratic headquarters in downtown LA. Matthew Seedorf is at a watch party for Nathan Hochman in Beverly Hills. Let's start with Matthew.
Oh, Alex, Marla, the Hochman camp feeling very confident as we go into tonight. They're expecting a party of sorts, maybe as many as 1,000 people here, possibly celebrating. They're feeling very optimistic about their chances of winning tonight. But go ahead and take a look at this video. This is video from earlier this morning, Nathan Hochman voting in Brentwood. The most recent poll has him leading over incumbent George Gascon by about 25 percentage points. Now, the former Republican is running as an independent on a campaign that focused on high-profile crimes, oftentimes accusing Gascon and progressive policies as worsening public safety in LA County. Hochman calls his stance the hard middle, rejecting mass incarceration and decarceration. Tonight, he's optimistic those beliefs will lead to votes by people who don't feel safe.
I'm feeling very good. I mean, we've had a chance to reach out to voters today. I had a chance to vote myself. I was thanking supporters and volunteers during the day and making sure that everyone votes.
If you win, do you think citizens in LA County will notice anything different?
Absolutely. I think what they will see is that criminals will be held accountable again. And there won't be a situation where you'll see that juveniles, people under 18, are stealing just under $950 and nothing is happening to them.
As you know, polls close at 8, but they're pretty confident that they could know or have a good idea of results by maybe 9:15 or 9:30 tonight. Also interesting, this is a homecoming of sorts for Hochman. He went to Beverly Hills High School, where he was the class president. Reporting live tonight, Matthew Seedorf, Fox 11 News.
All right, Matthew, thank you so much. Let's get the other side now. Let's go to Fox 11's Phil Schuman. He's in downtown LA covering the Gascon campaign tonight. Phil, we expect him to show up tonight?
We do. This is part of the California Democratic Party watch event at the JW Marriott in downtown Los Angeles. Gascon, you remember, was swept into office 4 years ago amidst promises of criminal justice reform, more flexible penalties, not charging juveniles as adults, opposing the death penalty, getting people out of jails and prisons, and all of that has backfired spectacularly. He has been labeled soft on crime, which is an allegation that he disputes. You will recall that last March during the primary, he only got 25% of the vote. There were 11 other candidates, and Hochman only got 16% of the vote. So it's not like he was ushered into this runoff with a wide popular vote, but he has billed himself as the solution to our crime problems, fairly or unfairly. And it looks like if the polls hold up, that George Gascon is going to go down to a resounding defeat, Marla. Gascon was trailing by 20 to 30%, but there is still a large percentage of voters in the polls who say they're undecided. He, of course, has raised his profile of late. You remember all of the coverage of his appeal to have the Menendez brothers released. He really turned up the heat on his public appearances compared to the first half of his term, hoping to salvage his campaign. But the expectation is that Hochman is going to be the next DA, Marla.
Yeah, it'll really come down to those 25% undecided, the latest polls showing, to your point. So we'll see where those votes land tonight. Phil Schuman, thank you so much.
And it's interesting that Gascon is doing his party at the Democratic Party event when so many of the Democratic Party leaders have not endorsed him or been there for him in raising his profile in the last few weeks.
His best effort for unity.
Yeah.
On election night.
And a lot of the high-profile Dems were not there for him.
Okay, a reminder, voting ends at 8 o'clock all across California. But remember, everyone who's still in line at 8 will be able to vote, so do not get out of line.
More of our election coverage after the break. A live look right now at the Trump and Harris headquarters. Basically, so far, to use a tennis term, both sides have held serve. Somebody's got to break serve. We'll see if that happens in the hours ahead.
To talk about the interesting race for Congressional District 14 between incumbent Kevin De Leon and challenger Isabel Jurado, both candidates facing leaked audio scandals.
We've got team coverage. Susan Hirasuna in downtown LA with the De Leon campaign, Hal Eisner in Highland Park with the Jurado campaign. Let's start things off with Susan.
Yeah, Alex and Marla, we're here at the San Antonio Winery, as you know, a historic place in the city of Los Angeles. And this room is set up to watch the returns. You see there, they've got the returns all ready to be delivered. Well, at least the screens for Kevin De Leon and Isabel Jurado. Now, in a city that is known as progressive, it's sort of interesting. This content has Kevin De Leon versus a super progressive, and that would be Isabel Jurado. Both of them appear to survive a bit of an audio scandal. And so now we are here on election night to find out who will actually be the victor. Now take a look at some video from earlier today. That's when Kevin De Leon came to El Sereno to his polling place in order to cast his ballot, and he came with a very special guest. He said that there was a young woman with Down syndrome who wanted to cast her ballot with him, and he agreed to meet her at the El Sereno polling place, and they did that together. She aided by her mother. So at this point, we are waiting for him and his supporters to arrive. Should be a pretty good victory party if he can pull it off. Reporting live in Lincoln Heights, I'm Susan Hirasuna. Back to you.
Okay, Susan, thanks so much. Let's go to the challenger, Isabel Jurado. She's going for the 14th District Council seat as well. Her supporters are having a big block party in Highland Park. Fox 11's Hal Eisner, he is there live. Hal?
Yeah, I should probably say they will be having a big block party here in Highland Park. This is a club called Block Party. Not much going on right now, but they're expected to start showing up around 8 o'clock. The candidate's expected to be here about 9:30. I spoke with her earlier today. We talked about a lot of things. Take a listen. What are you feeling today?
I'm excited, I'm relieved, I'm confident, all of the above.
You've been going to coffee shops. You've been going to small businesses. Crawl. Tell me about that.
Yeah, we've been going to small businesses throughout the district. Are doing like small business crawls. I voted at the library where I studied my LSAT, where I studied for the bar, where I took my daughter for free LACMA hand painting classes, where she made a Picasso, and my grandma was applying for citizenship. And in the summer, it was a cooling center for free. And like those are the resources that our communities need that are woefully underfunded.
What do you hope to accomplish by being in the back of that pickup truck?
Well, we're just going to raise our voices, remind people to get out the vote and connect with the community in the same way that we always had, which is grassroots.
And so the polls close here at 8 o'clock in California, here in Southern California as well. And she's going to be watching these numbers. She's hoping for the best. And we'll see what happens. Back to you.
Hal Eisner, thank you. We want to talk about our other big story, other than the election, a significant fire weather danger situation in the days ahead. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Adam Kruger.
Thanks, guys. Yeah, for anyone who hasn't been paying attention to the forecast, we've been talking about this very strong Santa Ana wind event that starts up tomorrow. Now, back on Sunday, Monday, we had a moderate event. This one will be stronger with the winds more intense, especially on Wednesday. And when we say Santa Ana winds, we're talking about offshore winds, which means dry and very gusty. Still, it'll be windy on Thursday, but not quite as extreme. And yes, there is a very high fire danger where if a fire were to start somewhere, it could spread very, very quick these next few days. So again, just windy and dry weather. These purple colored areas or magenta, that's the fire weather warning or red flag warning, pretty much for almost all Southern California for Wednesday and Thursday. So we have wind advisories in tan. That's where it's going to be quite gusty. And then the more extreme high wind warning is in this yellowish color, which includes areas north of LA into the valley, into the mountains, and over towards the Inland Empire, down into Orange County as well. That's where there could be spots, not constantly all day, but at times some spots where gusts could get up to or even above 60 miles per hour. In the tan colored areas, those wind gusts more so, maybe as high as about 40 or 45 miles per hour. Alex, Marla, back to you.
All right, very good. We've been warned. Thank you so much, Adam.
Much more of Fox 11's election coverage ahead.
Still to come, we'll talk to Brian Goldsmith about the election results that are coming in at this hour. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone, to the Fox 11 News at 6 o'clock. Thanks for being with us. I'm Marla Tejas.
And I'm Ellis Michelson. We continue our special coverage of the 2024 election. Voting continuing right now across Southern California. A live look at the lines in Buena Park in Orange County. We have seen long lines there all day.
And nationally, we'll take you live to both the Trump headquarters, that's on the left, and the Harris headquarters on your right. Trump will be there at his headquarters later on in Palm Beach, Florida. And this is Howard University for the Harris headquarters, where she will be later tonight.
Let's take another look at at some of the results that are coming in. This is from West Virginia. This is a Senate race that's sending Jim Justice to the Senate. That is a Democratic seat right now held by Joe Manchin. So that's a flip. That means that Republicans only need to flip one more seat and they get to control the Senate. So let's take a look at some of the results that are happening right now. Ohio is one place they could flip. Bernie Moreno, the Republican there, running ahead of Sherrod Brown. Ohio is a state that voted for Trump. Advantage right now, Republicans there. Another state that could be close is Montana. Polls there haven't yet closed, but that is a big pickup opportunity for Republicans as well. Here's a look at the Electoral College map as it stands right now. So far, none of the swing states have been called. All of the states that have been called were as expected, so we're awaiting those swing states to come in.
Electorally, Trump has 172, Harris has 99. The key number is 270.
Let's bring in our political analyst right now, Brian Goldsmith. Brian, thanks for being with us. We are starting to see numbers. What has been your big takeaway of the numbers so far?
Well, Democrats are not going to get the Aaron Sorkin ending that a lot of us wanted, which was a massive popular rejection of Donald Trump. This is going to be another really close and competitive election in the battleground states. And it's just too soon to tell. There are no surprises so far.
Yeah, so we keep talking about it. It comes down to the blue wall states, the Michigan, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania. Do you think whomever wins Pennsylvania, Brian, will win the White House?
That is overwhelmingly likely, and Democrats in Pennsylvania tell me that particularly in Philadelphia, they believe that they're hitting the numbers that they need to hit, that the turnout is huge, and that they're getting the margin out of that city that they would need to win the state. But Trump is also gaining in the red areas of Pennsylvania. You know, every time Democrats believe that we've hit a floor in rural America, we seem to go even lower 4 years later. So this is going to be, I think, down to the wire, but the core battlegrounds are unresolved.
And you look at North Carolina, you look at Georgia, both of them seem to be trending in the direction of Donald Trump right now. The New York Times has a meter on their front page. They say right now that Trump has a 66% chance of winning. So far, advantage Trump, right?
I think it's a little premature. I mean, the New York Times needle, which gave us, a number of strokes and heart attacks 8 years ago, still forecasts a really wide range in its possibilities. I think Trump is likelier to win North Carolina than Georgia. Georgia is still very close and competitive. Harris is doing well in a number of suburban counties around Atlanta. So I think it's a little early to make a judgment yet about that. But this is close. And bear in mind, 4 years ago, Biden was down in Georgia by a similar margin and ultimately won the state by 11,000 votes. So we just don't know yet, unsatisfying as that is.
Yeah, well, we're going to be on the air until at least 11:30 tonight. But even then, Brian, we do not expect to be able to call the presidential race. When do you foresee that happening?
Well, if Trump can manage to win North Carolina and Georgia, big if, and one of the blue wall states in the northern part of the country, then he would be the overwhelming favorite to win. If Harris can dislodge Georgia or win one of the southwestern states and hold the blue wall, then she's likely to be the president. And the reality is we're just probably not going to know this for a while.
Yeah, we do expect to have results likely from Georgia, North Carolina, and Michigan tonight because of the way that they count. And if Trump wins all three of those, he likely would declare victory tonight. And this race would be all intents and purposes potentially over.
If Trump wins Michigan, it's likely game over. Harris probably needs that state. So you're right about that.
Yeah.
Political consultant, we always appreciate you when you join us. Always helpful. Brian Goldsmith, thank you so much. We'll be watching along.
Thanks, guys. Great to see you. Good luck tonight.
Good to see you,
Thank you. Our election coverage continues after the break, but first look at traffic, Adam Kruger.
Yeah, this traffic report brought to you by Sweet James. We've got a lot of red around downtown, as you would expect still for this time of evening. Let me take you into one wreck here that's blocking two middle lanes. That's 10 East, heading towards West Covina, just east of the 605. Now a look at some other traffic hotspots.
Welcome back. We're giving you a live look at both the Trump headquarters and the Harris headquarters. Trump's headquarters are at the Palm Beach County Convention Center in Palm Beach, Florida. Harris's headquarters in Washington, D.C. at her alma mater on the right, where you can see thousands of people anyway, packed in there at Howard University.
Fox News just called the Senate race in Texas for Ted Cruz. Democrats had a hope that Colin Allred could potentially beat Cruz. That was their best chance at trying to pick up a seat. So now the overwhelming favorite is that Republicans will win control of the United States Senate. Democrats would have to win 2 Senate seats in heavy Republican states in order to keep it at potentially 50-50, and they would need Kamala Harris to win the presidency to have control of the Senate.
We were just talking about the importance of both North Carolina and Michigan. North Carolina still has not been officially called, but Trump is up with 46% reporting 51 to 48%. And then the importance of Michigan, Kamala is up 53 to 45%, but that is just 5% reporting. So Michigan still has a long way to go.
Yeah, North Carolina seems to be trending solidly in the Trump camp. Now let's talk about the California Senate race between Burbank Congressman Adam Schiff and former Dodger and Republican Steve Garvey.
Phil Schumann, he's at the Democratic headquarters in downtown LA. Laura Diaz is with Garvey supporters and Rancho Mirage. We first check in with Phil. Phil?
Marla, we're on the second floor, the Platinum Ballroom of the JW Marriott at LA Live tonight, the location for the California Democrats Watch Party. And while there is a lot of suspense, as you've been hearing, regarding the presidential race, not so much the race to be California's next senator. Democrat Adam Schiff, heavily favored over first-time Politico Steve Garvey. He knows it. We spoke with him after he voted this morning.
This is probably one of the most important elections for Californians in several respects. First of all, because Californians are going to decide who's controlling the House of Representatives. There are more competitive House races here in the Golden State than anywhere else in the country. So, California, you're going to decide whether Hakeem Jeffries becomes the next speaker.
Adam Schiff, of course, realizing that the path to the Senate is likely already paved for him, talking about the importance of getting out the vote for the rest of the ticket. Schiff, of course, came to national prominence some 5 years ago, leading the first impeachment campaign against former President Trump. But he says he is running on his record of getting things done. He was first elected to state office here in California back in 1996. We expect him here tonight, Alexson Marla, along with other Democratic Party officials. George Gascon, who probably is not going to be celebrating, Senator Alex Padilla expected here, LA Mayor Karen Bass, and others, and we're going to be here all night long to bring it to you.
All right, Phil Schuman, thank you so much. Fox 11's Laura Diaz in Rancho Mirage with the Steve Garvey camp. Laura.
Yes, Alex, about 350 people are expected at this watch party tonight. You can see that the room has been quite full throughout the evening. Candidate Garvey stopped by about an hour ago, and he talked to reporters, and he seemed quite relaxed. Win or lose, will politics be a part of your future, Mr. Garvey?
Well, I think what I learned from the currency of the people is to have taken that and now to apply it to serving the people in as many ways as possible. And the first step has been to run for the U.S. Senate. And, Tommy Lasorda never took me out of the game for 7.5 years. And Adam Schiff isn't going to take me out of the game now.
Certainly not conceding defeat there, as you just heard. Now, the 75-year-old Garvey, of course, is a household name for his years with the LA Dodgers and the San Diego Padres, where he played first base. He played from 1969 to 1987 and was part of the 1981 Dodger team that won the World Series. But, of course, as we all know, it's an uphill battle for a Republican in the heavily Democratic state of California. And Garvey has not been very visible on the trail. This evening, he told me that his campaign is a new type of campaign. He said that he reached the people through social media and that he's very proud of it. He said that he's inspired by the great leaders of the past to build a pathway for California. And one thing that's important to note, he is a huge fan of the late President Ronald Reagan. We know, of course, that neither Donald Trump nor he did campaign for the other man. So it'll be interesting to see the note we end on tonight. Garvey is due back here at 8:30 after the polls close. Laura Diaz reporting live from Rancho Mirage, sending it back to you in the studio.
And of course, we'll have all this tonight starting at 10 o'clock. Thank you so much, Laura.
Still ahead, California is going to play a big role in determining who wins control of Congress. We'll have more on those races when we come back.
Several Southern California congressional races could determine who controls Congress, and we are fanned out across the region.
Chelsea Edwards at Scott Baugh headquarters, Ed Laskos with the Dave Min campaign, Haley Winslow with Derek Tran supporters in Garden Grove. Let's start with Christy Fajardo covering the Michelle Steele campaign. She's in Buena Park. Christy.
Where did he go?
Yeah, we're actually going to be at Michelle Steele's headquarters later on in the evening. But first, I want to show you just some of the lines here in Orange County to vote. We're in Buena Park. We're actually at the library. And look at this line. This is the second floor of the library, and the line stretches all the way around the floor. And walk with me, because what you're seeing is actually deceiving. If we walk over this way and you look at the bookshelves, you'll notice that the line actually loops all the way in between all of these bookshelves you see here. People are waiting 2.5 hours. At least the ones who just voted are telling me that they waited 2.5 hours, but the line has actually increased. I want to show you what it looked like outside earlier. The line actually starts outside and wraps all around the building. I can tell you this line rivals any you'll find at Disneyland. Of course, California isn't a swing state, but this is a swing district, and Democrats are hoping to pick up a congressional seat with attorney Derek Tran. Republicans, though, have been fighting to hold on to it and re-elect Michelle Steele. So voters here have been bombarded with attack ads, mailers, phone calls, and text messages, you name it. A whopping $38 million has been spent on campaigning in the 45th congressional district, much of that money by outside groups, and the candidates have been working hard to get supporters to the polls. And look at this watch. This gentleman here has been waiting saying 1 hour and 19 minutes, but he still has quite a long wait to go. And we're told that if you are in line here by 8 o'clock, you will get to cast your ballot. You might just have to wait a while. Live in Buena Park, I'm Christy Fajardo. Listen, back to you.
I'm going to dare to say Alex's favorite catchphrase, and that is pack your patience if you're going to head to one of these voting locations.
And make sure your cell phone is charged and bring a book.
Yes.
Well, you're in the library. You can probably find a book here.
Yeah, that's true. All right, Christy, thanks so much. Now to Democratic challenger Derek Tran, who was joined today by former Senate candidate Katie Porter. Fox 11's Haley Winslow. She's live in Garden Grove, where he will be later tonight. Haley?
Marla, he's here now. He just arrived and he's going to talk to us live. We are here at the Marriott Suites here in Garden Grove, where the room's starting to fill up. The doors just opened and they're expecting it to be standing room only as we are down to the wire. Come on in here, Derek, the man of the hour. If somebody's watching this and they're still filling out their ballot, what do you think is the biggest and most important thing that sets you apart from Michelle Steele?
I appreciate that. You know, for me, it's always been about public service as opposed to Michelle Steele's selfish service. And, you know, I dedicated my career at enlisting in the military when I was 18 and my legal practice to representing those individuals that were discriminated, harassed, and wrongfully terminated at the workplace. So really, this run for Congress is an extension of me giving back to country and community.
And if you win, what is the first most important issue you're going to address?
I am going to definitely sit down with all of my constituents and my leaders in the community to find out what their priorities are. But, you know, we got some serious problems here, including the economy and Roe versus Wade. We need to make sure that's codified.
Okay, and an Alex Michelson question. What is one thing nobody knows about you?
You know, I'm a big foodie. So that's it, Alex.
All right, there you have it. He's a big foodie. Where there's a lot of food here, people are getting ready to indulge in this. Of course, it's a very close, crucial, and contentious race, one that will probably not be decided tonight. Reporting live here in Garden Grove, I'm Haley Winslow, Fox 11 News.
He likes to brag about the Vietnamese food in that district he's told me about before. All right, Haley, thank you so much. Now to Fox 11's Chelsea Edwards, who's following the race for Orange County's other congressional seat, or one of them at least. She's live in Newport Beach with Republican Scott Baugh's campaign event and plenty other Republicans there as well, Chelsea.
That's right. Yeah, this is Muldoon's Irish Pub in Newport Beach. We're not far from Fashion Island, and this is where the California Republican Party and the Republican Party of Orange County is going to be holding their viewing party. They are hoping it will turn into a victory party for Scott Baugh. I need to ask him that question if I talk to him later on tonight. He's not here yet. This party officially getting underway at about 8 o'clock, and we're expecting candidates and Republican leaders to start coming in probably within the next hour or so. So this is the setup. It's a small room. We can see returns coming in on lots of monitors and TVs throughout the room. You can see the press is kind of gathered around what will be a stage. Again, the actual event set to get underway at 8 p.m. Now, this is a race everyone is watching very closely tonight here in the 47th Congressional District. I think we've got a map. I want to show you how big this swath of Orange County is. It includes Irvine, Costa Mesa, Huntington, Newport, Long Beach, also Seal Beach. Again, huge area here. And this is for the open seat that was previously held by Democratic Representative Katie Porter. Now it's between Democratic State Senator Dave Min and Republican business owner Scott Baugh. And the outcome of this race could determine which party controls Congress. Now, Baugh, he's an attorney. He served in the California Assembly from 1995 to 2000 before becoming the chairman of the Orange County GOP. And again, we will be here all night long. We're expecting to hear at some point from Scott Baugh and from other Republican candidates as well as Republican leaders throughout the evening. We'll keep you posted. Alex?
All right, thank you so much, Chelsea Edwards.
Meantime, the race is on for California's 47th congressional district, vacated by Katie Porter. Democrat Dave Min is going up against Republican Scott Baugh. Let's go to Fox 11's Ed Lascos in Costa Mesa, where supporters of Dave Min will get together for an election watch party. Ed?
Yeah, they sure will be. Yeah, they will be, Marla. About 15 minutes or so, they'll be opening the main doors here of the Dave Min Watch Party. As you've been hearing, lots of money spent. 47th Congressional District viewed by many as a key battleground for possible control of the U.S. Congress. Let's get to it. To the video we go for Dave Min. It's his second run at Capitol Hill in Washington. Remember, he tried back in 2017, never made it out of the primary. Then he runs for state senate, elected to represent this area in Sacramento. And then the incumbent here, as we were talking, Katie Porter, vacates this seat. Min throws his hat into it, one of the two top vote getters in the primary, and that brings us to this night. Min, for his part, has run a very strong campaign saying he's a champion for small businesses, vows to cut taxes, cut regulations. Also, though, he's got that dark cloud over his head, the DUI conviction. We'll see how it all plays out as we come back out live. Min expected here maybe about 9 o'clock. We'll have more for you then. For now, we're live. Costa Mesa, back to the west side we go.
Ed Lascos, thanks so much.
That's one of those races we probably are not going to have a result tonight. Probably not going to have one on this one either. The District 41 race, Democrat Will Rollins taking on Republican incumbent Ken Calvert, one of the most expensive races in the country. And we'll see what happens on this one tonight.
Yeah, and this one is also expected to be tight. This is in District 27 in northern LA County. This one pits George Whiteside, the challenger Democrat there, against Mike Garcia, the incumbent. These are places like Lancaster and Palmdale for the 27th district. And again, Garcia, he won this district just by a few hundred votes in 2020. Yep. And so this could be really tight tonight because the district has changed a lot. It's gone more Democratic.
So probably first results come in for those races about 8:30 tonight, but we probably will not know the winner of that for at least a week, if not more.
Okay, a check on the dangerous fire weather that's heading our way because of those winds. That's coming up after the break. Stay with us.
Fox 11 weather, sponsored by your SoCal Hyundai dealers.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Adam Kruger, back with a look at your forecast. As you may have heard us talk about, tomorrow there is going to be significant wind that picks up, Santa Ana winds. So that means a high fire risk as it'll be windy and dry. We've got this low that's pretty strong. It's dropping straight south right now. Right now the winds are already gusty between the low and the high. And notice the wind direction kind of running parallel to the coast at the moment. But as that low comes farther south, that's going to tilt the wind direction more so offshore, which is essentially what a Santa Ana wind is. And when those winds go downhill over the mountains, they dry out the air even more. So it's that combination of gusty winds and low humidity that gives us that very high fire danger tomorrow and into Thursday. Take a look at the forecast wind gusts, and this is already early tomorrow morning. The wind's picking up big time. Some gusts over 40 miles per hour in some spots. These magenta colors representing where the winds will be strongest. So it's not going to be an even strong wind everywhere, but it'll be just generally gusty everywhere, but some pockets where the winds will be even stronger through some of the passes, the valleys, and the mountains as well. There could even be some times where the gusts are over 60 miles per hour. Here we are Wednesday evening. It's still windy, and Thursday not as extreme, but still a breezy day on Thursday. Coming up after the break, we're back with more news, including the latest electoral map.
All right, we finally have eyes on LA County District Attorney George Gascon. There he is. This is in downtown LA at Democratic headquarters, talking to a reporter there, as you can see. This is where Phil Shubin is stationed tonight. He is being challenged by Nathan Hochman. Going into this, Hochman is up by 25 points with 25% still undecided. Hochman is going to be the expected winner, but we will see how that turns out. And a reminder, the polls close at 8 p.m. If you haven't already, you still have time to get out there and vote. And remember, as long as you're in line by 8 p.m., you can vote. So stay in line as long as you're there by 8 p.m.
Stay with Fox 11 for results of the 2024 election. So the network takes over at 7 o'clock for national primetime election coverage from 7 to 10. We'll have local cut-ins during that broadcast and on our website and app. And then we'll be back from 10 to 11:30 for a Fox 11 local election special with 14 reporters all around Southern California.
And let's look at that electoral map one more time before we say goodbye to you for now. Trump with 182 to Harris's 99. Again, not a whole lot of surprise thus far. It comes down to Michigan likely, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania.
All right. Thanks so much for watching. Our coverage continues throughout the night right here on Fox 11.
We will go to our Fox coverage. Thanks for being with us. Good night.